Cult or religion? And what's the difference? Hey guys, John here. I often talk to people on my channel about religion, and cults are a word that come up frequently. And what I find really interesting is I have told the story about how where I live on this very busy road, I would get people knocking on my door 4 or 5 times a month with their little pamphlets trying to get me to join their religion. And I put up a little sign on my door, and it literally just says, if you're here to get me to join your cult, I won't. And I have not had them come back once. I had one show up, read my sign, and run to her car and drive all across my yard to leave when she saw that word on my front door. Now, my question is, why was she afraid? If she was not there to get me to join her cult, then why did it scare her? Why did she run away? I will tell you, they must have called everybody and said, don't bother with that guy's house, because they have never been back since, and that sign's been up there for over a year. And they used to come 4 or 5 times a month. But I wanted to talk about this topic today because it's an important topic, because the difference between a cult and a religion are very few. They really are pretty much the same thing. This is the definition of a cult, according to the dictionary. A system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. The example is the cult of St. Olaf. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. And the example is a network of Satan-worshiping cults. And the third is a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. And the example is a cult of personalities surrounding the leaders. The very first one is a system of religious veneration or devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. Now, Christianity is directed directly towards a messianic figure named Jesus. And as you know, I don't believe that Joshua believed he was Messiah or even wanted that title. So what I just read was the definition of the word cult, and the first phrase is a system of religious veneration, devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. So that explains every religion in the world. It explains every religion in the world. So all of them, according to the definition of cult, all of them are cults. Now let's jump over to religion. Religion. The belief in and worship of superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods. The example is ideas about relationship between science and religion. Number 2, a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. So even that, the word religion in this only refers to something of superhuman power or powers, especially gods. But the definition of cult is a better example of what a religion is. So once again, looking at the definition of cult. The first one, a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. All right, so let's look at that. A system of religious veneration. Religious veneration, let's go over to the definition of religion. The belief in and worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or a god. So they're literally saying in the cult definition that they are worshiping and believing in superhuman powers of a particular figure or object. So in other words, these two definitions tie together to truly describe what a religion is, because every one of the religions that we deal with in the world have a particular figure or object. So when you look at that from the aspect of religion and cult, that there is no delineation between the two. The second part of the definition of cult. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. A network of Satan-worshiping cults is the example. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. So let's think about the Catholic Church or the Christian faith right now. Right now, there's 30% of the world are Christian. Less than half of them are practicing Christians. They drink the blood and eat the body of Christ in their ceremonies. They have strange beliefs about celibacy and they venerate a man who kept saying that the power was within you. And so they're actually creating a cult around a Messiah figure rather than what the man was actually saying. So it actually is a cult. And it is only, like I said, it's only really 15% of the world. So it is the small, relatively group of people compared to the rest of the world. Even if you go to the full number of 30%, 70% of the world does not believe as they do. And so they are the minority in the world. And when you look at it from the aspects of, strange or sinister, strange or sinister is an interesting thing, but strange definitely. I mean, eating the body and blood of Christ in ceremonies, and rubbing ashes on your forehead, and doing all those things. Those are the dogmatic ceremonies of worshiping of a specific particular figure that they have deemed to be a Messiah or have superhuman powers. So you literally have just tied it all together. And when you look down at the bottom definition of the word cult, a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. There are so many people who have put Jeshua so high on a pedestal because of this messianic belief that they literally are willing to harm others for the sake of his name, right? And so the definition of any religion right now is pretty much a cult. And when you dive down further into the religion only has two definitions in the dictionary. The first, I said, is the belief and worship in a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods. The second one is a pursuit or interest in which someone ascribes a supreme importance. The other aspect of this is going back to cult, a system of religious veneration, devotion towards. They're also telling you that you have to believe what they say, and believe their stories about their venerated figure. And so they're literally telling you not to use your own thoughts, that you have to follow. Oftentimes I'll talk to people who are deep into the Christian faith, and I'll ask them questions that they can't really answer. Like I'll say, so let me ask you a question. When the other books did not make it into the final cut of the Bible, were they as valid as the ones that didn't make it into the Bible? And the answer I got from one gentleman was, no, I have to believe that God's hand was in the choosing. And then I asked him this, so who gets to decide whether it was actually God's hand? And he couldn't answer the question, because it always comes down to the religion saying this is just how it is and you have to believe this. And their exact words are, it's a matter of faith, or it's a mystery, right? You have to follow our system of religious veneration about this particular figure. So that's just the way it is, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says or any free-thinking thought about it. So it really comes down to religions and cults. There is no real difference. It literally is, you are not allowed to think for yourself. You have to believe what they say, and if you don't, they will attack you on it. And it's a fascinating thing, but that's not what Jeshua taught. Greater works than I have done you will do. It is your faith that heals you. All those things. The kingdom of heaven is within. And in the book of Thomas, he says the kingdom of heaven is within and without. It's all of it, right? And so when you look at what he's saying the power is within you. But all of these religions and all of these cults take the power into that deity, that particular figure that they're putting religious veneration on, and because of their superhuman story. And so that's the thought on this, is religions and cults. There is no difference. And all of them should go to the wayside and come back to be a loving world and find the power within. That's why on this channel you'll find that I say on a regular basis, spirituality is a personal journey. There's no one should be able to tell you what to believe. All I do on this channel is speak my truth. But if someone comes here to fight it, it's because they are bowing to their religious veneration of a particular figure that they've deemed to have superhuman powers. And I respect their beliefs. They just don't respect anybody else's because they have to believe. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.